everyone, and welcome to the Select Generation podcast. I've forgotten what episode it is, but today I'm joined by a very special guest. Today I'm joined by Tola, who I played with at the University of New Hampshire. Tola is currently playing in the USL Championship, so the second tier of US soccer, for the Pittsburgh Riverhounds. And Tola was a NCAA All-American, I want to say. He was a Division I transfer. So first of all, he went to, well, I think actually, well, I'll let you introduce yourself, but I think you played D2, D1. Got drafted MLS Next. So I'll let you introduce yourself, Tola. But yeah, thanks for having you.
Yeah, thanks for having me on. And yeah, you did a good job introducing me, but you want me to just...
Yeah, bro, go for it. Tell the people.
So I'm Tola Showunmi, currently play for Pittsburgh Riverhounds USL Championship. I moved to America in 2018, went to Merrimack College, D2 school just outside of Boston. They actually went Division I in my second year there, and then I transferred to New Hampshire.
Nice, bro. And so, because I know you got drafted your senior year of college and then went back to college. So tell us about that.
So end of senior year, I just pushed for the draft. It was something I always wanted to do, and was luckily enough to get selected by Atlanta. And with a draft, I guess not most of the picks are trials. I don't know how many picks in the first round are signed, but most of them are tryout spots. So I was in Atlanta for 2 months, training down there, playing games. Unfortunately, wasn't signed there, so decided to do graduate. Decided to come back to New Hampshire.
Yeah, right. And how was that? Like from when you got drafted? I was excited for you. I bet you were buzzing. Like, okay, like MLS team, Atlanta, probably one of the most respected, one of the best clubs in the MLS, like being drafted by them and then not being signed. Like, talk us through that 2-month process. How was it?
Yeah, it's great. It was a crazy time period, and it's insane to say draft day was still one of the best days I've had. Even though I didn't sign with a team, it was still an insane day, not knowing what was going to happen and finding out you got drafted was a crazy experience. But I'd say the time there was valuable experience, but didn't go the exact way I wanted. Obviously, ideally, I would have been signed and stayed there. And to get over the rejection that you face a lot in soccer, like it's a game of opinions, people feeling like you're not worth being in their squad obviously hurts, and is gonna affect performance and affect how you feel about yourself. So definitely was a tough period. Luckily able to look back in with hindsight and understand why you go through struggles with form and performance because of things like that. But really through it all, I was just trying to stay focused and still improve through the whole process.
Yeah, right. So how did it work, right? So you got drafted, and then obviously Atlanta has like a first and a second team. So were you with the first team? Were you straight in with the second team? Like, how did the whole draft process work? Like, did they bring you to Atlanta? Were you staying in an apartment or a hotel? Like how did it actually happen?
So the week after the draft, the day of the draft, I was called, be told I'm coming out in a week to do medical stuff and to start preseason. I stayed in a hotel, and for the first, I want to say 4 weeks maybe, I was with the first team. And that was a really cool experience, just to be around some pretty big names and stuff like that. That was pretty cool coming out of college. Was with them for 3-4 weeks, and then when they went to, I would say, Mexico on a preseason tour, I found out I would be with the twos with a couple of the other draft picks, and I was with the twos for around 3-4 weeks as well. Got to play a couple games with the first team, which was a cool experience, and a couple of games with the second team as well.
Yeah, right. And then when you were playing with the first team, coming straight from college, how was the level? Obviously, because the college, I think we finished in November, December. No, it wasn't even December, like end of November, and then you have a break. You probably went home. How did you get ready to go and train with the first team? And then going to the first team, what was the level like?
Yeah, for me, it was pretty tough because over the Christmas period, I wasn't able to train how I usually train. I think if you remember the day before the Oregon State game, I'd done my ankle in when we were going to
Oh, it's
play
true.
Oregon State.
It's true.
And that did not heal well. Like, it didn't heal well and it lingered for a lot longer than I thought. So I really wasn't able to do
Did
much.
Atlanta know that your ankle was hurting or not?
No, they didn't know just because just
Kept
me
it on
as
the low. Yeah.
huh?
Kept it on the low.
Yeah, just me as a person, I just was wanted to go out there and see what I could do, but I wasn't able to train much. I was just rehabbing my ankle pretty much that whole period. So it yeah, wasn't ideal.
How was the level with the first team? Like, did you rock
Oh.
up and you were like, wow, like I'm way out of it, or were you like, I can hang, or how was it?
It was very fast. The level was very fast, but I think I was able to hang in it. And like, if you are a good player coming from college, it's an adjustment and it's very fast, but like players can adjust and adapt to it. I would say one of the biggest things I noticed was just the little time the midfielders had. Like it's small possession games and they have to be able to like keep the ball close and turn with one or two guys like on their back constantly. And there's just a lot less mistakes and the ball's just played at a faster tempo.
Yeah, because you're pretty interesting, Tola, because you've played, well, you've trained with an MLS first team, then you got then you trained with like the MLS Next or the USL Championship, where it's probably a lot more academy players, and then now you're playing in the USL Championship, which is like kind of in between in terms of, you got academy players, pro players in the Championship, MLS. So like from your experience and obviously playing college too, like how would you say, like what little bits have you taken from each level, like from Atlanta 2, Atlanta 1, and then Pittsburgh, like what little bits have got better to adjust your game?
I think just tactically, like in a pro game, they're gonna demand more of you tactically, like different games you might set up in different ways. Atlanta and Pittsburgh are very different in terms of the style of football they play as well. So I just think being able to adapt as well. Sometimes I play up top, sometimes I play on the wing, and just I don't know the different experiences you have with the players and just learning how people play, movement off the ball, where I should be. Those are all stuff I developed a lot in Atlanta and Pittsburgh.
Yeah, right. And like just talking about the differences in level, like for a player that wants to go to college and wants to go pro, like what would you tell them is the difference between like MLS Next, USL, and the MLS?
I would say MLS Next is more about learning and maybe like making mistakes or like just trying new things. Like I think when I was in the second team Atlanta, there was a lot of players who like to express themselves and you're encouraged to like do stuff, even if you made a mistake, it was kind of okay. That's how I felt in that level. I would say USL Championship is a bit more athletic. You have like a lot of players coming out of college, like fit, strong, tall guys, like you can really just battle for a long time. And I'd say the soccer's a bit more grittier, like points mean a lot more, or may mean a lot more in the USL Championship to, I don't know, more like a MLS Next Academy League or like a new league that's just been introduced. So I would say that's the difference for me personally with the attitudes of the coaches. It was a bit like it was okay to make more mistakes. I found when I was with Atlanta second team than with the Pittsburgh Riverhounds. And the play is a bit faster and everyone's a bit stronger. And then with MLS, training with the MLS players and playing against MLS teams in the Open Cup with Pittsburgh Riverhound, I'll just say the players are so technical and their touches are very crisp and they know how to get out of pressure very well. Like they're just smart players. They think faster than the average USL championship player probably.
Yeah, well, because you actually beat MLS teams, so what do you think the difference in level is? Obviously, yeah, they're faster, they're quicker. Like, is there anything like tactical? You think they're like tactically better? You think it's just because the clubs have more money, so they have better recovery and facilities? Like, why do you think there's such a big like, or what do you think is the difference between like USL and MLS?
Um, I would say like a lot would have to do with the money and the facilities. Playing on a team that's beat a couple MLS teams this season, I feel like maybe the difference isn't as big as some may feel, but obviously the games probably mean more to the USL Championship teams. There might be like less tactics from the MLS teams. Um, I would say for me personally, I feel like it's money, facilities, the quality of players they can bring in, like the designated players they have just blow any USL Championship team's designated player. And like now Messi's in the league, which is unbelievable. You know what I mean? Like
No, it's
it
nuts, man.
just shows the difference right there, like that they can attract a player like that. So
No, no, I totally get that. Well, because for us, like when I was playing, so I played for a USL two team and we beat a USL one team. And for me, that was like crazy. I was like, wow, which like I'm proud of. And that's like one of the best football experiences I've had. But for you playing USL Championship and beating like a couple of MLS teams, like how was the squad after that? Was everyone buzzing? Like, how was it to beat an MLS team? Were you like, I bet it was an amazing experience.
yeah, definitely an amazing experience. But it was funny because it was almost like it was weird. It was like everyone was kind of like we won and we were excited, but it was like it made sense why we won. Like I don't know, like when you play in a game, you're just grinding to get a result. All the boys were grinding to get a result. Like everyone was really focused and tuned in. But after the game, I'd say it was unreal, especially like playing in Gillette
Yeah.
against the Revs, like where a couple years ago I had played against their second team when I first moved to New Hampshire. So it was kind of like a cool full circle moment to play an actual professional game at Gillette. So it was unreal to do that in front of like friends and like really like friends and family really.
Yeah.
And playing against Columbus Crew at home, we were able to like break the attendance record at Pittsburgh Riverhounds, and we played Columbus in preseason and lost to them. So it was like a cool feeling to like get that result back and to do it at home.
Yeah.
So yeah, definitely like cool
Yeah.
experience for sure.
That's nuts, man. And then for you in college, like how was your college process? Like how did you find Merrimack and what how did you find Merrimack, number one, and then number two, how was your time at Merrimack? Why did you transfer?
So I found Merrimack through like a college soccer advisory firm, and I just went to a showcase day, and I kind of liked the idea of a process where they thought I was a decent player and that I could do okay over in America. So I said, why not? Because I was just going to go to university in England. I said, why not, and see what can happen. And it ended up working out all right. At first, I wasn't too sure if I was going to come to America just because I didn't know enough about what Division Two meant or like if I would enjoy the location and stuff. But like ended up really enjoying Merrimack. It was definitely a smaller school, but I think that just makes the team closer when there's nothing on the campus or like there's not much to do and stuff like that. So I ended up having a great time, and my first year was Division Two. We made the conference final. We lost, which was tough, and didn't make the tournament. But second year we went to Division One. Just played regular season, but we won our conference without losing, and that was just like cool to do with all my mates who we just played D2 with. So it was a good time, but I felt like we couldn't make the national tournament because we just went from D2 to D1 for the next 3 years, and we had already won the regular season, I felt like there wasn't much more as a team we could really show.
Yeah. So that's what was going to be my next question. Like, why did you, after like you said, you had a couple of years, like you won, but obviously going from, I think that's a stupid rule, by the way, going from D2 to D1 and not being able to play in the tournament. Like, surely it should be harder. But yeah. So like after a couple of years at Merrimack, like you wanted to obviously go and compete for NCAA tournaments and win things. So why did you transfer and how did you transfer? Like, what did the process look like?
So I transferred because of that reason, and I just wanted to be able to like test myself at like a higher level because I believed I was ready to like make the jump and see what I could do. So that was like the main reason for like development. And my process said like I was put on the transfer portal, which is where people who like decided to transfer, there's a huge list and coaches can see and they can reach out to you if they want. So I went on the portal after my sophomore year, and a decent amount of schools reached out, and I also reached out to some schools and was networking with coaches and just talking about stuff. And I got a text from the coaches in New Hampshire, and it was close by to Merrimack, and it was college time, so I just decided to come to the game just to see what it was like and stuff, and introduce myself to some of the coaches, which I think helped in hindsight, even though I just came to see the game really. So sometimes it's the small things. And from then, we just kept on talking, and I really liked New Hampshire just because of like culture that was being built and like the ideas they had to improve the program and how they were going to do it. I really just bought in and was like, the school like gives me a good feeling and I like where it's going.
Yeah, no, I agree with that. How would you reflect on your time at New Hampshire?
It's good times for sure. Sure. I'm sure you would agree.
Yeah, no, I mean, I had a really good time. I mean, I was different. Well, similar to you in the sense that I was playing Division Two soccer, but I've said this a few times. Like I was at a really poor Division Two school. I think we were probably the worst. We won like 2, 3 games a year, and yeah, I mean, I knew I wanted to transfer, and I was trying to figure out like what would be the best option for me. Like I wanted to, I transferred a load of AP credits, so I had a load of my A levels from England transfer over. So I got 24 credits freshman year. So I could either transfer in 3 years and then have an extra year of eligibility, or I could transfer after my freshman year, and I would have like maybe some credits wouldn't transfer, so I'd have to do 4 years at a different school. So I just stuck it out and thought, I'm gonna do 3 years here. I still have my friends. I'm still playing soccer.
Yeah.
The level's not great, but I want to get my degree. And I didn't think I could play Division 1 soccer. And then I played in the USL too, made a load of friends, like sort of networked and made sure I was playing and playing games, getting video, getting film. And then I sent it to New Hampshire, who took a chance on me. But yeah, I think at UNH, like I was there obviously 2 seasons, you were there. And I think the reason we were so successful because we were so organized, like everyone knew their job. Maybe we did too much film, like people falling asleep in film, but I think we were so organized. Everyone knew their role. The press was correct. Like if you didn't press correctly, Hubs was going to scream at you. And I mean, we had a good team, man. If you think about it, like we had like you, Victor, Paul, Goldie, Linus, like even Bridge at the back,
Probably,
Sav,
yes.
yeah, Rory, Jas. I mean, the list goes on. Honestly,
Yeah.
like we had a
Good job.
really deep squad. I think they did really well at recruiting. So, I mean, I think we had a great locker room off the field. Like all the boys were pretty close, but I'm always a little bit like I just wish we won that Oregon State game. I think that would have. I honestly think if we'd have won that, we could have won the whole thing. So that's the only thing I look not regret, but I'm like I just wish we won that game.
I did really think that was the year
Yeah.
that it was meant to be, but just fell short in that Oregon State game.
I mean,
But
honestly, they popped it around us, and I mean, we hit the bar twice. I think we hit the post,
one
but
nil, it was only 1-0.
it
But
was
yeah,
only.
they were a great team. They were a
I
great
think they
team.
have 4 players in the MLS now.
Yeah. So it shows, yeah, that they were like a really good team.
But But so then, Tyler, when you were in college, like, was there any point where, like, when you were at Merrimack, were you like, I want to be a pro soccer player, or when you transferred to New Hampshire, you were like, oh, I'm playing at a really good school, I want to be a pro, or was it like a moment in a game where you scored a hat trick and you thought, I want to be a pro? Like, when did you start thinking like, I want to be a pro soccer player?
Yeah, it's funny because I always wanted to be a professional soccer player. I feel like that's every kid's dream in England, probably, or like who plays soccer is to be a professional player. But I think in America's like every year, the possibility became more real. Going out to America and like didn't think it was possible really. I was like, that was the dream, but I was like, that's if everything kind of goes right and stuff like that. But every year, just like had a good freshman year, and we moved up to Division One. It's like, oh, Division One's the highest level. So let's see what these players are like. Did well in that first season with Merrimack. Was like, okay, like let me try and go to a school that I'll be on like a stage where like scouts can see me and I can see if I can play against the big schools and the big names and stuff like that. And was able to do that pretty well. And every year I just felt, okay, I'm getting closer and I'm getting closer to that stage that you need to perform on and stuff like that. And after my senior year, where I had a pretty good season, my best season in college, I just tried to go through the process really and see what could happen. And I still didn't really know it, even up till like the day before we draft, if I would get drafted or if I would even have a preseason invite from the USL Championship team. I really didn't know, but I just would train like it was gonna happen and was waiting for something like to happen really.
Yeah. So what do you think is like the best thing that's happened to you in terms of being where you're at now? Like, is there any big points you think like getting drafted was the best thing, but then I don't think that's the best thing because I didn't get signed, or going to Pittsburgh's tryout and getting signed is the best thing, or scoring 10 goals in a season? Like for you, is there like a point where you're like, that has shaped me or like helped me a lot to where I am today?
I wouldn't say there's one point that like I would say was the best moment, but I'd say there's a lot of things that shaped me, just like the willingness to just try out America and see how it would go is definitely one big part. Or I had troubles transferring, like my coach didn't want me to leave. I really had to like push really hard to be able to leave my school. And it was like being able to like back yourself when people are telling you, no, don't do that. Like it won't work out for this reason. This could happen for that. But just being like, I'm gonna take a chance on myself and see what happens. So I'd say like just all those moments, just backing myself, help shape my process. And like best moment is hard because I'm always thinking about the next moment and I'm still in season. But I'd say in perspective, I wouldn't say it's the draft, but like looking back after not getting signed and being able to say I've scored against an MLS team and like I've beaten MLS teams is definitely a good feeling. And I think that best moment is still to come.
Yeah.
I think that best moment is still to come. So I'm just happy with what's happened. And there's been a lot of great moments and just looking forward to
Yeah.
more.
No, that's a good answer. I think yeah, I mean you got a pretty good roller coaster, but I mean you're in a great spot now. So best is yet to come. That's a good one. We'll use that as a quote for the podcast. But then Tola, give us some advice for someone that's in your shoes, that's 16, 17, that's abroad, or that's in high school thinking about, okay, I don't know if I should play college soccer. Like, I want to go, I want to be a professional soccer player, but I'm not sure if college soccer is the route for me. Like, what advice would you give to that player?
I would say everyone's path is different, but college soccer is definitely, I think there's a lot of benefits personally from college soccer. Like soccer doesn't last forever. You need to have a backup no matter who you are. Not a backup, or you just need to have other things you do in your life and just for mental reasons and physical reasons, all that stuff. But just believe in yourself. And if this is really what you want to do, you're going to have to put in the work. Like no one makes it anywhere without put in the work every day, facing setbacks. You have to be able to have rejection and find a way to keep going and still backing yourself. So just keep going at it, believe in yourself, work hard every day, and hopefully good things will happen.
Yeah. And what about advice? I mean, I'm sure it's similar, but advice for a player in college who wants to go pro, what would you give? Like specifics, like take care of yourself after games, don't go partying, make sure you stay on top of your grades so you can be eligible. Like, what specific advice would you give to a player in college that wants to go pro?
Yeah, I would say stay disciplined. You have to do extra work. You can't just think you can just do the team practices and the team lifts and think you're going to gain an advantage on other players. You have to find ways during the off season and during your evenings or when you're not training to put in the extra hours to work on the things you're not good at. So like over the summers, I would take it really seriously, just working every day, trying to improve my conditioning or trying to improve my weak foot or trying to get faster. So just stay locked in and keep improving your game. The areas you're weak at, like you have a whole spring season really to get better and be a different player by the time you come back. So just stay focused, keep working on the things you're not good at, and just be disciplined, really.
Right. No, that's some good advice. Well, Tola, is there anything else we should cover? Anything else?
Well, I know we could talk about prolific soccer if you
Yeah.
don't mind.
Yeah,
For a
go
bit.
for it. So
So,
talk to us.
yeah, so Sam, one of my inspirations into it, I started a college soccer advisory firm, and we are like looking to send mainly players from the UK to America. So that is a service we are having and just putting it out there into
Yeah,
the
right.
world.
So why did you start that? Like why did you think that you wanted to help players from the US or the UK come to the US?
I think just with my process personally, I think I had to do a lot of stuff on my own. Like I didn't get as much help as I would have liked, or there was moments where I had questions and there weren't really people to answer that. I don't know if it was the same for you coming to America, but I just wanted to provide a service where players can also get that mentorship for things on and off the field. So they're like a well-rounded person, really.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I totally get that. And then so how are you gonna go back? Are you gonna like reach out to clubs that you know in the UK? Are you gonna have showcases? Like how are you gonna get players?
Yeah, so we're having showcases in Leicester and London. The first showcases in Leicester in 3 or 4 weeks, where we're gonna have players down. We're gonna have coaches watch the highlights and stuff. So yeah, we've been connecting it with clubs in London and Leicester, finding players who want to try playing abroad and who have the same ambitions as me, like who had the same ambitions as me to develop as a player and just see where the journey can take you, really.
Yeah. No, that's awesome, man. I mean, for us, when we started, we wanted to run showcases and just kind of, get some more exposure to specific players. But then we realized like players, college soccer is a difficult process. Like there's so much that goes into it. Like I just released, you can take a look. I just released, or me and Vic, Select Generation just released a college soccer guide. So it
Okay,
kind of
no.
tells you like what you should do, what you need to do, emailing coaches, your video, all of this. And I mean,
Okay,
yeah, college soccer is like there's so many variables and so many ins and out. I mean, me and you, I think, know a lot from transferring and kind of, having like a recruitment service help you in the first place, but then doing it yourself is a totally different ball game. So yeah, like
yeah.
how are you gonna assist players then? Is it gonna be like chatting to them, like onboarding them, like helping with coaches, like what are you gonna do?
Just try and help them as much as possible. But the big things are we've got like gym and soccer positional programs designed by like people that I use back home to train with. We work with like a number of different pros, like from Premier League to League Two. So you're getting like professional workouts. And the other thing is just like anything on or off the field, it can be small, like sending the videos from your previous game to us and asking us to just go over it with you and stuff like that. Just that personal feel. If you have any questions about maybe if it's transferring, I didn't get help really transferring schools. If that's something you're looking into, we want to help you get to that next level. So kind of just being there for any time you really need anything.
Yeah, no, I totally get that. I think that's what we're trying to do. I think that's why we've been successful, because we're personal. There's we won't name drop, but there's a couple of other big companies in the US that they work with 1,000 players, and that's kind of not really what we want to do. But yeah, no, that's good, man. I wish you the best of luck. I think it'll be cool, and if you ever need any help or if I need help from you, I'll let you know and ask.
Appreciate it, Sam. I'm sure there'll be collab sometime in the future.
Yeah, for sure, man. Well, anyway, Tola, it was great to chat to you. Cheers for hopping on the podcast, and we'll be in touch.
Of course, thanks for having me, bro.
Bye, mate.